family childcare course. I thought it would be good to do a video this week at the beginning of the course, just so you could get a feel for who I am, see me talk, because this is unorthodox, doing a class that's 100% on the computer. I've never had that experience, and maybe some of you've never had that experience, so I thought I would personalize it just a little bit, this week at least, by having a video of myself. I don't know that I will do this any other week, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to see me. And this week I think it's particularly appropriate because we're talking about marketing our family childcare programs. And I have a family childcare program, and I have employed a variety of different marketing strategies, some of which have worked better than others. And so I thought I would just go through my story and my progression in my own business, and you can use that as information when you're thinking about how to market your own business. So I started my family childcare program almost 6 years ago, and prior to that I worked in childcare centers for almost a decade. So I had a lot of comfort and a lot of experience working with and caring for young children. So I was pretty confident that I could handle the care of the children, the behavior management, setting up different activities for the kids to do, that sort of a thing. I felt very confident about that. I also felt really confident that I could provide better care than I had witnessed occurring in the various childcare centers where I had worked. Childcare centers employ a lot of teachers, and of course there's always some good ones, but in my experience there were always some bad ones. And I felt pretty strongly that I would provide better care, and that I would feel 100% confident encouraging any family to enter into my program. So when I was leaving the childcare center in which I worked, my first marketing strategy was to create a brochure. I found a brochure template on the word processing program on my computer, on Word. They have templates for different things, and you can find a template for making a brochure. So I took their template. I'm not particularly proficient in computer usage, but I can use a template. So I took their template, I put in my words, I put some pictures of me with children, and I got people's permission, of course, just verbal. At that point I was not savvy enough to know that I needed written permission, but I got verbal permission from families to use those photos. And I listed some of the benefits as I saw them. And at that point I was really focusing on how my program was going to be different than some of the centers in which I worked. So I focused a lot on the fact that there would be a consistent caregiver for the children when they were in my care, that they wouldn't have to, be dropped off to one caregiver, and then that caregiver goes home, at 4 o'clock, because that's when their shift ends, and then another caregiver comes in to take that caregiver's place. So I knew that was a benefit to family childcare, that their child would only have to get to know one person. I knew that another benefit was that it was going to be a small group of children, that at that point I was only going to take care of 5 children, so I knew that was a benefit. I also knew a benefit was that I would take care of children of various ages, so siblings could stay together, and the children could stay with me until the parent decided to move them to another program, which again is different than a childcare center where children move every year into a new classroom. So to me those were benefits, and those were things that my brochure were going to emphasize about my program. Another benefit that's specific to me is I have a master's degree in child development, so I use that, put that in my brochure as well. Although I think I would have been a success without that particular educational credential. So I made a brochure, and I told the director of the program I was leaving that I was going to pursue creating a family childcare program. The center where I worked was a very popular center in town that always had a waiting list. So I knew that I was not going to be considered competition from this program. So I went ahead and passed out, and I don't think I asked the director of permission for this. I just assumed it would be okay. Again, I was young. That may have not been wise. I probably should have asked for permission, but I didn't ask. But I put one of my brochures in each of the parents' cubbies, or little parent pockets, for each of the children in my class, and it was 1-year-olds that I was working with at that point, and included a letter that said, I'm leaving, I'm opening a family childcare program. If anybody I said, I know that this program where I was currently working has a waiting list. So if any of your friends or family are looking for childcare and can't get into this program, would you pass along this brochure to them? I felt that that was safe. I wasn't trying to be competition with the childcare center. Of course, in my mind, there was a couple families that I hoped would be like, oh, if you're leaving, we'll come with you, which did not happen. Nobody left that program to come and enter into my care. But they did pass my brochure out. So my initial calls that I received for my program were parents, friends, or colleagues of parents of the children I had already cared for at that child care center. So having had experience already caring for children really helped me to get some people calling. So that was my first step into marketing. The next thing that I did was I put an ad on Craigslist. And I did all of this kind of simultaneously. When I was setting up my business, I was very, very excited to do it. I'd been in the field a long time. I'd seen a lot of things that I didn't like, and I had read and learned about in my college courses a lot of things that I did like. And of course, I'd seen things I liked as well in different centers that I worked in. I wanted to take the best of what I had seen and learned about and put it into my program, and I wanted to leave the stuff I didn't like, I wanted to leave that behind. And I'm an independent person by nature, so I was really excited about the opportunity to do it myself. That I had clear ideas about how I thought childcare should happen, and I really wanted to put those things into practice. So I was very excited. So I made the brochure, and I put an ad on Craigslist, and I also created a website, all kind of at the same time. Again, I'm not proficient at computer usage. I mean, I grew up. My mom's a computer programmer, and I grew up with a computer in my home since I was like 4 years old. So I have a certain amount of comfort with computers, more so than maybe people who didn't grow up with computers in their home. I have a certain amount of comfort in that sense, but I'm not someone who dinks around on the computer, wants to install programs and create. I don't have as much proficiency as really most of the people I know that are my age. But I can follow a template. So there's my mom has Comcast, and so if you're a Comcast subscriber, you have access to 2 free personal websites, I believe. So I took my mom's Comcast website space, which I'm sure most people never use their Comcast personal websites, and I created a business website on it. So it doesn't say my business name is Secure Beginnings, so it's not like securebeginnings.org or securebeginnings.com or anything fancy like that. It's like comcast.net/Holly Harper personal pages, which my last name isn't even Harper anymore. My last name is Myers. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I put that website, I created a website in that template, and I encourage any of you who have Comcast to do that. It was very, very easy to do. The templates are there. You don't have to design the colors or think about the layout. You just create pages, name the pages, and insert your content. And very, very, very easy to do. And it serves the purpose. So on my Craigslist ad, I again talked about the benefits of my program, using benefit language, things that I knew because I'd worked in the field so long, knew made me different than other programs. And I included a link to my website. And if in my area where I live, it is not very common that programs link you to a website. Programs that are advertising on Craigslist link you to a website. That is not very common. So that helped me stand out. And you can tell, my website tells me how many people have come to the website. And I got quite a bit of people coming. By quite a bit, I mean like 10. But, if you only have 6 spots to fill, 10 is a lot of people to come to your website, right? So those are the things I did. I made a brochure, I made an ad on Craigslist, linked it to my website, and one more thing is I would check the Craigslist ads every day because sometimes parents post saying that they are looking for care. I know sometimes they're very specific that they want someone to come care for their child in their own home, but sometimes they're not. And if they weren't specific about wanting it in their own home, even though you could tell that they kind of were looking for a nanny or a babysitter in their own home, I responded anyways. I linked them to my website. I really tried to sound extra friendly in my email. I think I was very specific. If they said, oh, my son who's 4, who likes to whatever, is looking for childcare, I would say, oh, I think your son, I think your 4-year-old son would really like this about my backyard. We have a great sandbox. Or I tried to be very specific, and I tried to sell myself to that client, that prospective client. Everybody I talked to, I assumed would be a good fit for my program, and I tried to sell my program to them specifically. And I think that helped me to be successful. So, the other thing that I knew that I wanted to do was wanted to not post my Craigslist ad too often. I live in a small community. Those of you who are in Bellingham, you know this. There's like 90,000 people in Bellingham. It's a very small community. We are not like Seattle. So when you go on the Bellingham Childcare website, you can see, like, there'll be like 4 posts a day. Now, I've gone to Seattle's Craigslist ad childcare section, and there'll be more than 100 posts a day. Now, I don't have experience marketing in that climate, so hopefully some of you who do can chime in on the discussion boards and tell us about your experience. My experience is advertising in a smallish city. And I know that there are providers in my community who advertise multiple times a month, even multiple times a week with the same ad on Craigslist. From my perspective, it doesn't look good. It means that a parent seeing that, a parent can see at a glance that you've posted more than once in the last month. It makes it seem like your ad isn't working. It makes it seem like maybe parents who've called your program have decided not to choose you. To me, it's a red flag that it's maybe not a quality program. And I don't think it means that it's not a quality program. If there are those of you who have done your Craigslist ad more than once in a week or more than once in a month, I'm sure that your program is a quality program. However, from the outside, it looks like it may not be, because it makes it look like, why would you need to advertise that much if you are a quality program? So I personally wanted to avoid that. I posted once, and I wouldn't let myself post again until a full month had passed. And now when you initially set up business, and it's really hard to get clients initially, even if you're going to end up being successful, because I have a very successful business now. And that's my cell phone. I've never done this before. I have a very successful business now, but initially, it was terrible. It takes so long to get clients. Just know that. It takes a long time to get clients. So sometimes it's hard to wait that full month before you post the next Craigslist ad, but I still held myself to that because, like I said, to me, I didn't want to appear that my ad wasn't working, and I didn't want it to appear that people might come to my program and not choose me. So that's my opinion about that. The other thing that I did was I followed up on every call I got. I always returned calls. Pretty quickly, my baby spots filled up, as was probably common. When I started my business, you could only have 2 children under the age of 2. Since then, the age limit has dropped. You can have 2 under 18 months, which helps providers quite a bit. But at that time, you could only have 2 under the age of 2. And so those spots filled, and I knew I wasn't going to have any infant openings for, I filled them with 2 3-month-olds. So I knew I wouldn't have infant openings for, more than a year and a half. But every call I got from a parent of a baby, I took their information. I said, would you like to visit? Would you like to be on my waiting list? Initially, I made the mistake of having those parents come in to see my program. And I learned that was not a good use of my time or their time. Since I already had 2 3-month-olds, there was a slim to none chance that I would ever enroll any of those infants, other families with infants that contacted me at that time. I did have one family come out, visit my program, liked me, wanted to be on my waiting list. But of course, I never had an opening for that child. And the next time I had a baby opening 2 years later, it would have been silly to have called them because, of course, by that point, they would have certainly found other care. So that's something I learned. So now I don't have people come by to see my program unless I have a spot available. And sometimes when they want to see it, I explain that, I just don't, that it's not a good use of either of our times. And if they're really just curious, because they've heard of me from someone else, then yeah, they can. Then I'll let them come visit, and that's fine. But I'm pretty clear that I don't have an opening in, and that really they'd be best served by seeing other programs that do have spots available. So, but I do think it's very important to follow up on every single call. That was what my point was going to be, that you never know when you're going to need that person to have a positive view of you. Even if I didn't enroll those parents of those babies that called me, I have since gotten word of mouth referrals from those families because they had heard from a friend that I had a good program. Even though they didn't get into my program, they were still happy to pass my name along to someone else. Had I not returned their call, had I been rude to them on the phone or dismissive, which is easy to do because you get very busy, and once your program's moving along, you do get lots of calls, and often families that you can't serve and know you'll never be able to serve. I still think it's important to respond to every single call, respond in a friendly manner and an open manner to every single caller, because you never know who else they know that might become your client later. That's been my experience. So even though I had some success filling those baby spots right away, my 2 and over spots, it was terrible. I take part-time schedules, and I love that. I currently, for my 6 spaces, have 16 families that fill those 6 spots, and that's great for me. I wouldn't have it any other way. It is more work. Having 6 full-time kids is easier than having 16 part-time kids. There's no doubt about that. But going back to the initial time when I was setting up my business, those over 2-year-old spots are hard to fill. They were so hard for me to fill. And then what started to happen was I'd get them. So I said I had enrolled 2 babies. Now they weren't full-time. So I also had like an 18-month-old, like 3 days a week. And I have had various schedules going on. Anyways, the 18-month-old turned 2, and they put him in a center. And then I had a 2-year-old, and then she was 2 and a half in the fall, and they put her in a center. And that was terrible. That was so hard for me. One, because I had worked in centers, and even the best center, I just think family childcare is better. And I just thought my family childcare was better. It was really hard to see them go to centers. And I had not anticipated that. I did not know that was going to happen. I thought once I got them in, they'd stay with me till kindergarten. Now, almost 6 years into the business, nobody stays with me till kindergarten. Everybody leaves to go to preschool. They don't leave when they're 2 anymore, but they do leave by the time they're 3 or 4 to go to preschool. And I know that, and that's fine. And I love having toddlers, infants and toddlers, and that's totally fine with me. But those initial 2-year-old and 2.5-year-olds leaving, that broke my heart. And I was, I don't want to say devastated. Devastated is too strong, but I was like, what am I going to do? Because I had started my business in February and got maybe, 4 kids. Most days I had 4 kids. Okay, I'm making a living. And then those 2 and 2.5-year-olds go to the centers, and I'm left with just those babies again. And where am I going to get 2 and olders? I mean, I was not sure how to proceed. But by luck, by chance, by good work in the childcare center where I used to work, there was one family who, even to this day, I live in a small city where there's lots of people who know lots of people, and it's a very community-oriented city. One family from that childcare center where I used to work told their neighbors about me, their colleagues, everybody about me because they had liked the care I'd given to their son. And to this day, almost all of my clients, probably 80% of my clients, are from word of mouth from that one family somehow. So I enrolled their neighbor, and then their neighbor told someone else, and I enrolled one of their coworkers, and then their coworker told someone else, who told someone else, who told someone else. So I owe quite a bit of gratitude to this family. And so how did I break the barrier into being able to enroll 2-year-olds into my program finally? And it was just time. It was just time, and I treated every client like they were important. I do a good job caring for children. People are happy with my service. Tom Copeland in the Marketing Guide, in the chapters you're reading this week, he talks a lot about marketing to your current clients, that if your current clients are happy with the care that you're giving, then that's the best marketing tool you can have. And my success is a testament to that. Initially, when parents, I have gotten referrals from Childcare Resources. I got contacts from my Craigslist ads that I've put out over the years. I enroll probably 30% of families that contact me from some method beyond parent referral. So they're responding to my ad or have called Childcare Resources to get my name. I enroll about 30% of those families. Currently, in the last 3 years, all of the families I've ended up enrolling have been from word of mouth referrals. And if a parent has been referred to me by another parent and they come to my home for an interview, I enroll 100% of those families. Initially, when I started out my business and people would come, they heard of me from Childcare Resources or they saw my ad on Craigslist, I was not good at selling myself. I'm modest, and I would argue that a lot of us family childcare providers are. I think that often the reason that we're very nurturing and caring for other people's children is because in some sense we're modest. That's not 100% true, of course, and you can be nurturing and care and a good caregiver and be able to be confident in yourself and sell yourself, but I find that the two often go hand in hand, that we don't sell ourselves enough. We sell ourselves short, and we don't want to boast. So when people would come to my home, I wouldn't say, I have a master's degree in child development, and I would never tell the parents that came to my home, I have a master's degree in child development. I put it in my written literature, because that's easier to write, but for some reason, I still don't say to parents that come by, oh, I have a master's degree in child development, because as you can imagine, that's quite a selling point. But I still, to this day, I'm not good at selling myself. It's very hard to do, and I won't be able to teach you how to do it because I'm not very good at it myself. But what has been successful to me is having had years of service to happy and satisfied customers, and they go out and they sell me. And they say, oh, she has a master's degree, or oh, more importantly, oh, she's really happy whenever my child comes into my care. Oh, she answers all my questions. She returns all my texts. She listens to all my concerns. She's professional. She's open every day unless she's sick, which has been like 3 times in the last 5 years. And I have happy clients, and as a result, they sell me to other people, and I don't have to sell myself, which I'm very, very grateful for because I'm not good. I'm not good at that. So I owe a lot to this one particular family who spread my brochure and just said I was good, that I was nice to their child, and I was warm to them. And I think if you're those things, I think that can be good enough. The other thing I do is I never turn down a family, even if it's a small schedule. Now, different providers will say different things. A lot of providers have a policy that says that they will have, that they'll take part-time clients, but that they reserve the right to replace a part-time client with a full-time client at any time. The idea is that a full-time client is more stable financially for the provider, and so they reserve the right to replace the part-time client with the full-time client. I do not have that policy. And I personally don't plan to adopt such a policy. I like my part-time clients, and I've only ever actually had one full-time client. All of these years, my schedule has been made up of part-time clients, and for the last 4 years, I have been fully enrolled at 6 children, piecing together part-time schedules. For me, that's successful, but I think whatever you decide, that's your decision. That's the beauty of family childcare. But in my experience, I have benefited by taking part-time clients, and no schedule is too small for me. I have one girl that comes Friday afternoons, every week Friday afternoon, but I had a spot on Friday afternoon that was a gap. So that's, $100 extra a month if she just comes on Friday afternoons. And so that's worth it to me. And then not only is it that $100 a month, it is word of mouth, because her parents, work in 2 different offices and they know lots of different people, and they'll know about me, forever if I give them good care and they're satisfied. And I'll never say, oh, I'm gonna give your afternoon to somebody else. It's theirs until they're done with it. So that's something that works for me. I have a lot of notes here, but I feel like I've probably talked enough. Okay, so one last thing that I've done that I think has brought me in clients is that I'm quite active locally in my local community. So I was on the local NIAC affiliate, which in Bellingham is the Northwest Association for the Education of Young Children. I was on their board, and I've gotten referrals from other board members. Bellingham doesn't have a Family Childcare Association group, which is unfortunate, but even if they did, I think that my participation on the NIAC board was particularly helpful because there are center directors on that board with me, and so centers get full and they want to send people to, families to other providers. And so they know about the other centers, but knowing about me as a family childcare provider, they know also that some kids don't do well in childcare centers that need a smaller environment. So they just know about me. All the centers in town now know, or a lot of the centers in town now know about me because I've been on the board with these women. And so I get referrals from them, which is very excellent. And if a parent has gone to a center wanting care there, they already then have a good opinion of that program. And so if their director recommends me, that's just a really excellent recommendation. So I have successfully enrolled clients from referrals from women I was on the NIAC board with. So that's something that I've done. I feel like there's something else. Maybe that's it. So, yeah. I think that's all that I want to share with you today on this topic. Thank you so much for watching this. If you have any questions about anything in this course, please feel free to email me or call me or send me a message through the Canvas program. I'm really enjoying this opportunity to lead this course, and I really want to convey how passionate I am about family childcare. I really think it's the best option for children and families. And I'm really excited that you are interested in learning and want to do either your job better, because we all can improve, or that you're interested in starting this business for the first time. I just am so pleased that you're a part of this program. So that's it. Thank you very much.